Hi, this is Roy Worley. Welcome to the interview show that brings on guests from all walks of life. Yeah, it's here that they tell their stories and delve a little deeper into their lives to see what got them where they are. So grab a drink, have a seat, and relax, because this is the Leo Effect.
When was the last time a short movie shook your emotions to the core? When was the last time a short movie caused you to rethink everything you stood for? When was the last time a short movie made you proud to be an American? When was the last time you felt the emotion to stand up and cheer after a short movie? The new short movie, I've Got Your Six, written and directed by Bill Foster, one of the industry's newest and fastest climbing directors, will answer all of those questions. Rarely has there been so much packed into a short movie that when you leave, you'll feel more proud of our American military veterans. A movie that was cast only with American military veterans will have you on the edge of your seat, cheering for our veterans and what makes America great. I've Got Your Six will be hitting the film festival scene soon. Be prepared to drop what you're doing and go see this powerful movie when it comes to your area. Warning. This episode contains some themes and language that may be considered too adult for kiddos. So if they're listening with you, make sure to have them put on their earmuffs. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Leo Effects. Today I'm joined by a very special guest. I've been waiting to talk to him for a while because he's got some really cool stuff going on that I've been listening to on the YouTube. And man, it's been blowing my mind, and I want to find some more out about it. But please allow me to introduce Frank Schubert of Revolushn. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well myself, sequestered away and all that good stuff, but we're making the best of it, and we're still running podcasts, so that's good.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, well, you're in an awfully pretty place, so, that helps a lot.
Yeah, of all the places to be stuck, I guess that'd be a good one. All the way up in upstate. Right. So, my listeners are going to want to know. I kind of announced already the name of the band, but they're going to want to know a little more about it. I saw that you guys you had on your website that you're an American protest band. Where did all that come from? Where'd the idea come from?
Well, you mean the name Revolushn?
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm terrible at names, and I thought, well, for this band to make it would take a revolution in the way the music business works, right? Because we're oddball. And it was a couple glasses of wine, and my wife, our keyboard player, was working on a website, and she was trying to secure a name. And I said, try Revolushn. And she laughed and said, oh, that'll fit you. And so she came back and said, we can't get that one, but if I spell it like we would in Russia, then we can get the website. And I thought, oh, sure, that'll be great. We'll add the comrade flavor to it. And we did that. So we spelled it, like a Russian would, Revolushn instead of ION. Mm-hmm. And I can't believe I had like a complete brain freeze on this, but my favorite band in the world is Revolushn, Prince and the Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that, right? Completely until like a year in. I went, oh, fuck. Because I thought they were playing here, I was like, oh, damn it. But we spell it different, and we're radically different sound.
Oh, yeah. How would you describe your sound?
Rockabilly, techno, popic. I don't know. It's dance songs.
Yeah.
They're made for people to dance to.
So what made you decide to become a musician and start a band?
That happened really young. I started playing guitar when I was 5.
Oh, wow.
My older brother bought one to impress a girl or something when he was in his teens, and like 18 or 19 maybe. And all he did was try to impress his girl with it. He didn't really want to play it, so he just left it there, and he would go to work, and I would sneak in his room and fiddle with it,
Mm-hmm.
And I really just liked it right away. So then I think I was maybe 8. I talked my parents into buying me a guitar, something like that.
Nice.
So I've been doing music. It's always it's always been my thing. It's sort of a release. I do other stuff too, but music is the only thing that's been consistent. Like since I was 5 years old, there's that same piece of this world that I can always connect to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of relaxing in a way. On the other hand, the music business is the worst fucking business on the planet. That part. But whatever, you do what you got to do.
Right.
So, and we're lucky that we don't have to. We should to, or we don't have to. We have our own record company, and we do our own releases, and hire the same people to promote it that the record companies would. So, one might say we're kind of a lazy band. I play probably 3 or 4 hours every day. That's my routine. It's like a workout.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in that sense, we're still, at least David and I are still professional. David Kendrick is the drummer, and he's been my writing partner for a long time. And so the way the band kind of started was I was doing some engineering work, and I had to go to Kansas City. And the guy who owned the engineering company also owned a 24-track studio. Pretty nice one, he said. And I told him, oh, man, I love going in the studio. And he said, well, you just pay the engineer, $25 an hour or something like that, and you can use the studio. I'll let you use it for free.
Oh, wow.
And, I thought, wow, okay. And it was more of a toy for him. He's a really rich dude, so he didn't care if it made money or not. He didn't need profit. But when he said, just pay the engineer, what he didn't tell me was the engineer is Aaron fucking Connor, the producer who did all of Bone Thugs and Harmony, and he's done Ed Sheeran, and he's got, this guy's a big shot. Like, holy cow. When I first met him, I was sort of just almost drew it. And it was hard, when you're in awe of someone's skills and you're doing it right there with them. So anyway, we recorded a couple songs, and I wrote a couple songs for Bobby Killerby, so that, for sort of in return. And like, I don't know, 5-6 months later, we were going, holy cow, we've got enough for an album. And then, I said, what the hell, let's do it, So David Kendrick, our drummer, the drummer from Devo and Sparks, and the list goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, hey, I got these songs, and I got a couple of the songs we wrote that we'll record, and come on out to Kansas City for a week. And actually, I think we stayed 2 weeks, and we went into the studio every day and recorded the first album that way.
Wow,
and
that's crazy.
just for the hell of it, just say we had a see it show. Or try to impress the girls. But all of a sudden it started, we thought they were pretty good songs, but Jesus, a couple of them became, sort of, they got real popular, like 100,000 streams or something. And for us, we didn't expect that at all. So then we thought, well, let's do this for like, normal pros would, where we really plan it out. So we spent the next year writing and sort of finding the groove and the flavor for further than the second album. And that one we recorded almost all the basic tracks here in our own studio in California. And then we went out and worked with Aaron and spent like 2 weeks in there that time. And that was more professional. I mean, we really spent a lot of time on it, getting the sound just right, making them all consistent and mastering them all consistently. So Further did even better than the first one. Yeah, and especially like Dinosaurs, I got 250,000 streams on YouTube, and again, this is for a band that's not trying very hard.
Yeah, I actually just listened to Dinosaurs, and that was a pretty crazy song. Like, especially if you look past just the words and you think about the meaning of the words. Like, are all of your songs so message heavy like that?
I don't do that on purpose. I really don't. I just kind of try to write stuff that rhymes and is cool. But like Dinosaurs, it was a real strong feel, because so here's the secret on that. I wrote that on the original song idea. I wrote on GarageBand while I was riding around in the back of a tuk-tuk that was packed, like 30 people stuffed in this thing in Thailand. and I just figured out that GarageBand existed, right? And I found that lick, and I went, whoa! And then I started thinking about how in Thailand, there's a king and the emperor or some shit like that, and there's pictures of them all over, but they're not 21st century. I mean, it's really archaic thoughts, and even though there's that sort of loving Buddhist vibe about the place, the guys who run it are fucking dinosaurs. That's from age. That's not an age that you go into outer space with. I mean, the vibe. There's not going to be fucking kings and queens at the point when people go out in space. So anyway, that's what kind of the vibe came from that one. But it was also Olga. My wife. I call her Bundles, but she did. That was the first one where. Well, I guess it wasn't the first one, but that video she did was really right on for the way the song felt. It even gave it a whole deeper meaning. Just the video she did, Yeah, somebody pointed that out. In fact, I had a Republican friend of mine get mad at me and be fake. I don't know. I haven't checked it out.
Because they thought that it was having to do with the American government.
Well, no, this on the new one on Electric. The first line, one of the first lines is those old fools are playing their games, and this guy's an old guy who thought I was talking about him, and I kind of am. He won't talk to me anymore.
Well, it's a good way to weed out the ones that aren't really your friends, right?
He'll get over it too. Yeah, he'll get over it once. I mean, but he's like sort of, he's mad at me. That's okay. I mean, what am I going to do, right? Mm-hmm. Am I supposed to censor myself? You can't do that when you write. If you want to write good, you just write a lot and hope 1 in 100, is good enough to get people's interest. But I'm not going to. I had somebody tell me that, you're going to lose fans if you keep posting that political shit. I was like, no. Not true. It's not true. I talked to all 3 of them, and they said they don't care.
No, well, there you go. So, what's your process for creating a song like that? I mean, obviously, you just said you were riding around in the back of a tuk-tuk playing with GarageBand. Like, is that how all of them are formed, or do you have?
Oh no. That was, in a sense, the sort of coming to you out of nowhere. That's pretty much on all of them, but the settings are really different. So what happened was, here's what the process. I'm right around, and I found this riff, and I started thinking. Then the melody came to me, and then I have a really good memory for songs, so I can usually play it once and remember it, for a long time. So I remembered that, and then I started a week later, I was on the beach, and there's some kind of hassle, and I started thinking about this dinosaur thing again. And then when I get back to the studio, I took that riff and put it into Pro Tools and tried to copy it to get a feel for what it was going to be like. And that one I really liked because you're not supposed to like your own stuff, but I do. So I mean, I don't want to, look at me. I wrote this. It's just what I do. But I like that one because it starts out with that sort of, it's almost an oriental minor riff, with the pan flute only tweaked a bit, and it goes into that crunchy. And I told Aaron when we were mixing it, I want that fucking guitar to sound like a dinosaur, crashing through the woods. And he did a good job. Yeah. So, but with Electric, it was, and so let's say take Electric. That one, I think it was like kind of late at night, and I maybe had dinner and 2 or 3 glasses of wine or something. And I came to the studio and sat down at the piano and started playing almost the whole thing. And then, It took a while for the lyrics, but the melody was almost instant. And I was in the studio, so I hit that record button, and we recorded it, the first demo of it. And then it's such a dancey thing. So we were doing a bunch of gigs at the time, and we needed a song. So it's easy to show the guys there. Just showed them, and we started playing it live. But I didn't have all the lyrics done. So like in the second verse, though, it's just, how do you be there? Making up phrases.
Right.
But everybody would dance to it, right?
Right.
And so we'd really stretch it out. So then we recorded it again like we played it live and realized that it wasn't, that's the wrong way to approach it. We have to make it more concise. And then we recorded it again with live drums. It was a really weird situation. I'm almost always here when we do drums like that. And that time I couldn't be.
Oh.
And so I came back, and the drums, we had a different engineer, a good friend of ours from a band, engineered it. And he did a great job engineering, but I wasn't there to sort of direct it. So a lot of the fills came in the wrong spots. But see, here's the thing. David is such a deadly good drummer. And he plays so steady that you can take the beginning of the song and cut it and stick it right at the end, and it'll be exactly in the time, right? That's one of the great things about him. And he knows that, and we've been recording enough together that he knows what he's going to do is put a bunch of really cool rolls in and overplay it, because he knows then I'll go back and put the track together that it sort of fits the vocal, right? But I'll end up with some really cool fills. If you listen to the drums, like the last part of Electric, when the sax kicks in, listen to how the drums they sound like they're still there and they're big, but they went freestyle almost. The tempo is still there, but the drums kind of almost go off like a guitar when it's shredding and it goes up real high, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a cool, and we got that by him jamming on it, and then, you know, Aaron and I sat there and sliced everything together to put it into the track that it, you know, and we shortened it and spiced it up a little, crunched up the guitar some, and there you go. And so that's the process how we did that one. You know, that was written both live. We got the feel, that bouncy, almost, you know, up tempo thing from playing it live and seeing how people would dance to it, you know.
Yeah, well, kind of talking about playing it live, you played like some gigs? Like, what are your big gigs that you remember?
Oh yeah, we're playing all over the place, all over the country. We're national, baby. So there's one gig we do every year in northern Wisconsin, and it's called Pato Jambo, after a famous musician that lived up there. Not, I wouldn't say famous. To us, he was famous. That one we do, and then we're going to do that one again this year. But we're going to be real careful. We're going to have masks with every ticket. We're going to limit it to 200 tickets. The bar's going to be outside. There's going to be hand sanitizer all over the place, temperature gauges for people. Maybe even, we're trying to figure out if we can pull off free tests.
Man, talk about a way to, you know, kind of put a spin on a bad situation. Like, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, well, you know what we're calling it? We're saying we're going antiviral.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
so there's that, but we've played, we did a really cool tour in New York a couple of years ago that was really fun. Jimmy Starr was at both the gigs in New York, and that one was really fun. We had Randy Jones from the Village People sit in with us.
Oh, neat.
And yeah, and we did YMCA. All things.
This one's for you,
and
man.
I was telling Randy, I said, you know, I never in my life as a rocker thought I would play this or learn this song, much less play it with you. But I had so much fun, and so we you know, the only time we rehearsed with him was once at the club for sound check, but we knew we were going to do it, so we rehearsed a couple times in California and learned the song. It's kind of like the record, you know, and so we're ready, and we did our sound check. Now we're going to do the check with Randy, and I said, okay, so here we started out. We're going to with that intro. And he goes, no. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do it. You're going to just wait, and I'm going to do it. You do it super slow, and I'm going to do it almost a cappella in the beginning, the first verse, and then I'm going to give you the cue, and you guys start in. and we did it. It came out really fun. But the place went nuts. Jesus, he's really and then he came to the net. We did another night there in New York, and it's a much smaller, smoky little club. And Randy came to that one too, and it was really fun. Yeah, we had a really good time. Those were good gigs. And then we played in Connecticut at this punk club called the Cherry Station, or Cherry Street Station. And yeah, that was wild because. Oh God, I didn't realize what the traffic was like going from New York to Connecticut in the afternoon.
Yeah.
We were like 2 hours. I mean, we started on time, but we got there 2 hours later than we thought we would.
That sounds about right.
And yeah, so we're all tense, and this place just went nuts, though, right out of the box. And so it was so much fun because we went from being tense to just having a great time. People are, our manager brought us up shots and stuff. It was fun.
That's awesome.
Let's see what other one. Oh, the one where we shot the video for Electric. That was really fun too. That was kind of big shot Hollywood type deal.
Ooh la la.
It was yeah. I mean, we were very fancy. It was at the Globe Theater in L.A., downtown L.A., and the Globe Theater is sort of they kind of built it as a much bigger version of the Globe Theater in London, where Shakespeare, performed all his plays.
Right.
Only this is a lot bigger. I think the Globe was 70 people, and this one is 1,200. So anyway, we played as a benefit for the Mars Society, which is a group of scientists and enthusiasts that are trying to promote moving to Mars. Elon Musk is one of the guys. In fact, that's how I met him. So that one was really fun because it was packed, but I've never seen a light show like that. If you watch that video, that's all actually what they were doing on stage behind us. It was amazing. And also we had Scott Page from Pink Floyd played sax on that song, so that's his hometown. So he came and sat in with us on that song on Electric.
He's great too.
Oh yeah, I really like Scott. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to shift gears a little bit, and we've talked a lot about the band. I kind of want to have the listeners get a little bit more of who Frank is. So I got some questions that are a little bit more personal, like not anything, too delvy or anything like that, but some fun questions for you.
We need to get Kim, our singer, here. She's got all like the messy, dirty gossip.
So
you got to have somebody like that in the band, right?
Absolutely. Well, my first question to you is, what would you be doing if you weren't a musician?
God, I don't know.
All right, next question.
Yeah, I can't imagine it. It would just be. I can remember times when I would get burned out on the business that I would just stop for a year or two.
Oh,
and
wow.
Those were they were unhappy times, more or less.
Right.
The only really good parts of my life is when I'm making music, and I'm super lucky right now to be able to do both. I have something interesting to do that's not too well. It's real demanding, but the hours are very good and the pay is insane. So I get to spend that 4 or 5 hours a day in the studio, and there's so much to learn. I don't get bored with it. And lately we haven't been able to play, but I play with 4 or 5 different bands. So I'm always, Revolushn is number one, but then I play with Kevin North Band. I play with Nalamora, the Coke Band, which the Coke Band is kind of cool. I got off on a tangent here, I guess, huh? But I wanted to mention those are the same guys that I started playing with in high school when I was 11.
Oh, man. Well, with you being so busy and being part of all these different things, like, do you have time for a hobby?
I read a lot.
Okay.
Like immunology is a fascinating science to me. And I also, I was part of this Mars Society in that I was the guy who designed and built the Mars habitats, the simulators that the astronaut uses. There's one up by the North Pole, there's one in Iceland, and there's one in Utah. And what they do is, this is the habitat module that when they go to Mars, they're going to have a place to live, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was my one of my side jobs. Is I worked for NASA and the Mars Society and designed and built these. In fact, I've got the market cornered on Mars habitats on Earth, not in space. And that's how I met Elon, like 18 years ago or something like that.
Holy cow! That's wild.
Yeah. What? Yeah. So anyway, but I was, even back then, we were doing music as part of it. In fact, there's another band I played with called the Extremophiles, and we were a band. Me and a filmmaker and 4 NASA scientists did a rotation in the habitat. And rotation is where you stay 2 weeks and pretend you're on Mars. You know, you don't go outside without a suit, and you can't go to the grocery store or nothing like that. So we got NASA to pay for part of that as an experiment by they were like, well, what kind of people should we send to Mars when we have a crew? And we were like, send musicians, because they'll have something to do on the way. You know, if you can get guys that play good in a band together, those are perfect setup, you know?
Yeah.
And so, so we went there, and we got Pro Tools to donate a bunch of equipment, because everything has to be lightweight. You know, it's $10,000 a pound to send anything into space.
Jeez.
Yeah. So we had 1 guitar, a lightweight keyboard, a lightweight drum machine, and Pro Tools. And what happened was our main science officer, a famous scientist from NASA, we had ATVs, and we're pretending we're in these suits, and we're pretending we're out there gathering samples and stuff. Well, she tipped hers over on the second day and broke a rib.
Oh, man.
But refused to go to the doctor. She said, if we were at Mars, and you can't do much for a rib other than just don't move. So our science program went to hell for the next 2 weeks. So we decided to write songs.
Hey.
And we wrote like 20 songs. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, you got to make do with the time, right?
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. You can cut this out. Next question.
No, you're good. You're good. Actually, I wanted to use these last couple minutes to open it up, and you can let the listeners know where they can go to follow your social medias.
Yeah, we're going to get better at that. We're going to hire somebody, because I've been doing it lately, and I'm terrible at it. But
okay.
The Revolushn.com, and you got to spell it Revolushn. And you know, when we first started, it was a pain in the butt, because the computers would always just change it to the other spelling, and nobody could find us.
Right.
But now we're on Wikipedia, and we got, it comes up with about 6-7 pages, so we're okay now. So Revolushn.com. There's on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Revolushn. That's kind of where we do most of the outreach. We're working on Instagram. We have a page. We don't do much with it. On Twitter, we do more.
Okay.
Like we post when we're playing stuff.
Which I can imagine your guys is like the way. I mean, just from what you were wearing, like your steampunk hat and everything, I bet your band pictures are awesome.
Well, we have like I say, my wife does all our visual stuff, and so yeah, we have great photos.
Cool.
It's amazing, and it's kind of the whole vibe too. It's sort of that Hollywood vibe. It's not shoegazer stuff. No disrespect to shoegazers. I dig that music, but we're kind of more like, okay, here's the show.
Mm-hmm.
And we really try to put everything out for the show. You don't want to whine about, I'm tired, or my girlfriend's mad at me, or something. Like, fuck that. We're here to make music and forget about that.
I like it.
Right.
So, Frank, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show and talking to me and letting me know a little bit more about Revolushn and get the word out to my listeners who should definitely go check this out. So thank you. I've had a blast talking to you.
Well, the same here, too. It was really fun talking to you. And, we'll talk again sometime.
Absolutely. That sounds fantastic. And thank you to all the listeners who tuned in to check out this episode. Make sure to go to Frank's social medias, Revolushn, Revolushn.com, Revolushn on Facebook, just not spelled the normal way. Think commie style.
Yeah. And on YouTube, YouTube we have, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
There.
And not to worry, if you can't remember how to spell it, all the links will be in the description of the podcast. All you have to do is click and it'll take you there. I got you covered. But thank you all very much for checking this out, and we'll see you all next time. Oh, now that was an awesome interview. Thanks so much for listening. You all are so great. And don't forget to head to Facebook, Insta, and Twitter and follow The Leo Effects. If you want to hear some comedy and ridiculous voices, check out Shattered Dungeons on YouTube and all other places podcasts can be heard. and you'll hear me voicing crazy characters, usually pretty terribly. So thank you so much. You all are the absolute best, and we will see you all on the next episode.